Good evening. My name is Jason Haddock. I am the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach, and recruiting coordinator at Clements High School in Sugar Land, Texas. This is going on my third season at Clements, and I'm very fortunate because my head coach was a teammate of mine in college, and so it's really cool dynamic. We get to have been teammates there as players together, and now we're teammates together as coaches, which is pretty cool. I'm going on my 13th year coaching. Prior to being here at Clements, I spent 4 years at Fort Bend Marshall. My last year there, we were the 5A Division II state runner-ups here in Texas, losing to Aledo. I was also fortunate to be part of the coaching staff for 3 5A state championships with the track team as well. Bounced around to a couple places before that, but have been here in Fort Bend ISD going on 7 years now. It's a great school district. And a lot of great people to work for and work with, a lot of great competition and great football down here in the Houston area. Sugar Land is a suburb of Houston. So we've got several colleges here or that are very close, and a lot of great high school football here. And it's just an absolute blast to be able to coach at the 6A level down here in what is arguably the greatest area of the state football.
Hey, guys, my name's Adam Kirby. Thanks for having me on, Coach. Pleasure to be here, get to talk a little ball. I'm the offensive coordinator at Captain Shreve High School in Shreveport, Louisiana. Previous to this, I was the offensive coordinator at Sulphur High School outside of Lake Charles, Louisiana. And before that, I bounced around. I was at Southwestern College in Kansas, Independence Community College in Kansas, and McMurray University over in Abilene, Texas. So originally from Henderson, Texas, and married to my wife, and we have twin 3-year-old. The play we call cut. It's a kind of a same side RPO play. Get the defense flowing, but it's really more of just a cutback where we're going to seal that inside backer with that guard. So we're trying to get it to become ISO. We're going to double the backside with the nose up to the backside backer and get him secured. And then on the play side for the RPO, we're just going to run curl flat that can turn into a go based on coverage. What we found is against 3-4 teams is that, with them, if they want to remain too high, we've had some success running quick stick routes, out routes, any type of out with a replacement route was what we call it. So out and then slant behind it, out and a post behind it. We'll turn that into a wheel sometimes with the out. So we're going to try to have a cutback lane to where we can RPO. Essentially what it turns into is a same side RPO as opposed to having the back flow away and then just RPO in the backside like I see a lot of teams do. We're heavy on RPO in the backside, but the longer I've been into this RPO stuff, you can be much more efficient RPO in the play side as well. So I'd probably just run cut, try to have him a play side RPO, such as curl flat with the curl, depending on how that corner plays it. If he's down, we'll convert it to a go. If he bails at the snap, we'll just sit it down at about 7 to 8 yards.
An interesting issue this year. I don't have big bodies down on the D line, so I've got strong, thinner, undersized, quick guys. So I had to come up with something a little bit different from our traditional 5-shade 4-eye that we had been previously running. So I spent some time with Adam Harvey, the defensive coordinator at Hutto High School in Hutto, Texas, and this is something similar to what they do. Every play, my D line has to be moving. So I give them a direction, either strong or weak, ABC gap, telling them which way to go. So what we show here is our base B gap stunt, and they are in their 4-0-4, and their first step is down into the gap, towel drill, rip that shoulder, grabbing grass and fighting through that gap. And the idea behind it is get through the gap and go create havoc in the backfield. So what we found is that really gives an issue to offensive linemen because lined up, head up, they don't know where you're going to go. And quickly ripping through that gap usually drags their eyes with them, slows them down, and keeps my linebackers free, my inside backers. So we're going to dip and rip those guys into their B-gap brave stunt. The Mike and the Will are leading the guards. So guard flow is going to take them to the ball. Free safety really gets to flow. He's either going to have the weak side outside alley, or he's going to come down, slow play, and go strong side will flow away from him. My strong side safety has the outside alley outside my Lobo. So my Lobo is my C-gap player for high C in this defense. So if the Y decides he wants to come block the Lobo, then the Mike and the strong safety basically get to vice that alley. But if the V ends up blocking down and cracking on the Lobo, strong safety fits outside, gives the crack call and crack replace. And that really helps us squeeze everything down and keep everything pretty close to the tackle box. For trips alignment, we like to run what we call special. That's a 4/3 on the trip side, and it's a split coverage, so it allows us to do multiple things on the back side. Had you detached your Y, we would have run a banjo on that. It's basically an in and out between the corner and the free safety, but because the Y is attached, I'm just going to go ahead and run zone on the back side and cloud that. So let's go front side to the back side. The corner is man pressed on the X. He's got the X all the way. If it's a pass play, the robber has the first out, first thing coming out to him. Robber, strong safety, and Mike are all reading the Z, the number 3 receiver. And we do that because the corner man on the X basically takes that out of the equation. So we're 3/2, normal doubles alignment almost, and normal doubles look. So everybody's reading number 3, which would have been the number 2 out of a doubles look. The Mike has the first thing in. So once Mike reads pass, his eyes go to 3. If 3 is out, it's going to carry his eyes to something looking in, and he'll sink to 10, looking for work coming inside. Anything coming inside, Mike walls off, he takes it, it's done. The strong safety basically has the first thing vertical. If you get verticals out of the V and the Z here, basically the robber will stay vertical with the V, the strong safety will stay vertical with the Z, likely helping the Mike over the robber just by virtue of what those players' abilities are. Because on the backside we're clouding this is basically going to put the corner man on the Y, and it allows the free safety to either help there or to look backside post and help on the special side if Z is posting away from the strong safety, because the strong safety can get stuck between 2 verticals or between a split between the V and the Z trying to figure out who to help sometimes. So he's got that extra backside help. The Will has the tailback man-to-man. If the back blocks, the Will's going to add in and become an extra rusher. To help the corner, my Lobo is going to jam the Y, try and keep him on the line, and then play inside. Run Ys that allows the corner to fit outside if we need to. My end and my nose, my backside end and nose are slanting towards the trips here to help close those inside gaps. 2nd and 2 is likely going to be a run back to that Y is my assumption. So we want to close those gaps and only leaving the A gap open, that weak side A gap open, and the Will, that's his primary fill on his way then to take the tailback. The play side end is playing inside because with the Mike outside the box, it's easier for him to just come up and set the edge there in the C gap instead of trying to get back inside to that B gap. And then if it's a run away, again, the free safety is going to come down, shuffle, go to flow, run towards him. The free safety gets to fill any open alley inside out.
So with that, we would starting from the strong side back to the X, starting at the Y. You know, we're going to run a go. How I look at it from an offensive line perspective, you know, with you going special in 4/3, I knew that Will probably's got anything with the Z to the box. So how we would attack that is we really look at it like a 5-man box with the Lobo to the end, and what I would call the Mike backer, you call the Will right there sitting there, corner to stay back. So we'd 5-man protect that, especially on 2nd short, knowing we could take a shot, and if it's incomplete, you know, we've got a very manageable 3rd down situation to work with. So we'd send our Y on a go to kind of clear out the space. We'd go 50 protection and send the back to the tight end upside to try to get just an easy throw to the flats to convert that 2 yards. To the trip side, we'd go out with the Z, with the Z, and then try to have some sort of in-cut route, whether it's a dig, a quick slant, maybe a hitch behind it with the V. Just try to hit that small little window just to get the 2 to 3 yards that we need to convert the first down. And with the corner playing inside leverage, the rover over the V, and the safety split over the Z, I'd run X on a go and tell him he's already got inside release, beat him out, and then take it to the house. So we'd have 2 verticals with the Y and the X to stretch you vertically. Anything sitting inside, whether it be a dig, a slant with the V, and then 2 out cutting routes with the Z and the 2 to try to get the easy throw for the 2 yards. The V is going to block the first person that shows, whether it's the low bow or the strong safety. He's going to MDM it, most dangerous man, and we're just going to run load option to that. Read the play side end. We're going to double the play side tackle, the right tackle, and the right guard are going to double that nose. We're going to come down on the nose to seal off that Mike backer in the box. Same thing with the center and the backside guard. We're going to combo that defensive end you got right there, an A gap if I drew it up correct, right? And we're going to combo that to the backside wheel, and we're just gap hinging on the backside or band up, depending on how he wants to play that alignment. If he's head up inside, we'll gap hinge it. If he's outside, we'll just block out. But outside with our 3-back, fullback, whatever you want to call him, we feel pretty good about our chances being 3 for 3, and hopefully with the Z block in the corner, V MDM in it. The V and the 3 are interchangeable on the low bow and the strong safety. If we get the pitch, we feel pretty good about having an opportunity to get to 8 yards. So anything like that with that alignment, we'd probably just run load option to it.
Side, I'm like, crap, my mic is really stuck in there right now. So, when I first took over as the defensive coordinator, Coach Darnell says to me, our head coach said, "Look, I want to stay with this 3-man front." I said, "Cool." And my second year, I said, "Look, I really want to splash in a 4-down, 4-2-5 cover 4. I mean, we're cover 4 base anyways." And I said, "I want to splash in the 4-2-5, which is what we ran when I was at Marshall and what I ran prior to Marshall when I was the defensive coordinator at Booker T. Washington down here in Fifth Ward, Houston." And he said, "Yeah, that's cool." And we have one of the great things about Clemens High School is we have really, really smart kids. And thankfully our kids are smart enough, and we have repped them and coached them well enough that we can go from down to down 3-man, 4-man. And we make it simple. We don't flip outside backers. We don't flip ends. The line just shifts one way or shifts the other. And we what to do and let them rip and let them run. And that's why I said earlier, when we're playing against a wing T veer kind of offense, it takes us out of being able to do a lot of this stuff. And now we get to be what we are. But when we go into that 4-man front, it opens up a lot of fun, different things for us that we can do. And why I like bringing my free safety here, our free safety is a kid that's being highly recruited right now. And he's fast as fast can be, and he will come down and he will hit. He ran the alley in our game the other night, our first district win, and basically tackling the kid, picked the kid up and body slammed him in the tackle, and it was just driving through him, and it was just fantastic. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be a free safety nickel blitz, because in the 4-2-5, the outside linebacker to our strong side basically becomes a nickel. The weak side outside backer becomes a walk-up 5. I don't like them. I have one that can put his hand in the dirt and play that way. So I just tell them, I tell him how you want to. But the rest of my outside backers, if they're that walk-up 5, they're going to play from a 2-point. And because we're bringing a double outside blitz, we want to use the D-line to effectively close those inside gaps. So we're going to close those inside gaps down. We're bringing the Lobo off the strong side, free safety flat off the weak side. Free safety's aiming point is hip of the deepest, so he's going to be able to try and chase that down from behind. The corners on both sides, because this becomes a true zero coverage, our man coverage on the X and the Z, and they're going to get tied up in blocking on run and just have to get off and come play football. The strong safety will spill down as the free safety and Lobo are spilling after the quarterback gets his pre-snap read, and that strong safety is going to take the V man-to-man. If it's a run, he's going to try and maintain outside and make sure that if anything gets outside of that Lobo, that he's going to pick it up. The Mike and the Will, because everything's being closed down inside, their first step is outside, just to make sure nothing gets off the C gap edge that gets underneath the blitz, but it is not picked up. And then once that has occurred, they're going to go flow. If it's a pass play, the Mike and Will are in boys, and I wrote boys on the board there. And that's a harken back to something I learned from Kevin Steele, who was my head coach in college and linebacker coach historically. We ran boys. Boys is back out to your side. So the Mike and the Will basically have the fullback and the tailback in boys situations. They either take the one that comes to their side, or if both go to the same side, they're both flowing to go cover that. So they're going to step outside, check the run, and then flow to football. Or if it's pass, they're going to, as they're stepping outside, reading pass, they're going to key that back closest to them, the Mike the fullback and the Will the tailback respectively, and go cover those guys. If a pass play comes out of this, fullback, tailback block, the Mike and the Will get to add in, which is really cool because I've got a Will especially, but I've got two really great linebackers that will pin their ears back and go in a pass situation. Is going to have him man to man. So we're going to run a Mike X blitz, and run Frisco behind it, man free. The corners will have the X and the Z. I drew X twice. The X and the Z will be manned up by the corners. The Lobo will spill down and grab the V. The defensive end over the Y is going to jam the mess out of him and take an inside release, which takes him off his timing. We actually ran against this very similar last week. The team we were playing had a last-ditch effort, and my end jammed the mess out of their tight end. It took his timing off. The quarterback had to go to another route, and it was just too short. The strong safety will pick up the Y man-to-man once the end releases and plays inside. So I've got that nose in the 3 technique, and the Mike kind of in the A gap behind him. The nose is going to rip hard inside, aiming at the center's hip, and the Mike is going to come down and be behind him, rip into that B gap. If we do get a run that way, that's definitely going to close that up. But it gives the Mike a quick add in towards the quarterback. If the tailback comes across to block strong side, he's now got 2 guys he's got to contend with. So we're making him choose. The Will has the tailback man-to-man. Again, if the back blocks, the Will has a free add through the B gap because the 2I end is now A gap player, and that walk down robber is the C gap player. My free safety is going to float over the top, being my free guy and man free, and he'll float really to the goal line, looking for something coming across either from the V or the X on the outside there, or something coming from the Y, maybe a backside, maybe posting the backside or something like that. The corner on the backside by himself, he's on an island. He's got to go solo, and he's got to just do his job. And he's got to man that guy up, get him pressed outside, and stay with him and stay in the hip and run with him the whole way.
And the blitz kind of screws me up, but I'm gonna be an honest man about it. I'm not gonna have the chocolates. I would run a drive concept at the goal line, and as I hold this up, I'll tell you our read is trying to hit that window in between the 2 safeties right there for the touchdown. But knowing that we're solo on the backside, we're going to have an automatic go unless he's in bail coverage. If he's in true man and, attacking the hip and running with him, we can convert that into a slant. And that's something we teach on the backside of all of our 3x1s, whether it's tight end or 10 personnel set. The X has got the option automatic go unless he wants to sit it or slant it inside. I'd release my back to the single receiver side to try to put either A, that Will in a bind, trying to get out of the box to cover him, or B, having that safety come down to where we can run the slant, almost a replacement route, or the go to where he can't help over the top. So that's what I would do to the single receiver side. We'd 5-man protect it, obviously. we'd run it with the drive concept. We're telling our tight end, you're not getting the ball. We're trying to clean out the space with the linebackers, make one of them take you, obviously with your will, having running back responsibilities. We'd try to occupy that one backer left in the box and run the dig behind him at second level with that V, and then have that post right behind the V. On the post, if we tell our guy it's an automatic post, and we're reading the high safety, so that safety is going to tell our quarterback whether to throw the dig or the post, and that'll be really our two main options. If we can't get the post or the dig on the 12-yard line, then we'll go back to the single receiver side. First of all, let me say I appreciate you having me on, Coach Mallard. I thought it was awesome. Coach Haddock, gave me a lot of things to think about. I thought I had a lot of good ideas. I've been a coordinator for 7 years, but the defensive stuff that you showed me was pretty good. But for any of you guys that want to reach out to me, my Twitter handle is at Coach Kirby, KIRBY25. I'll drop you my cell phone. We can talk. We can text. I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to talk ball. And I've said this before, don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm not embarrassed to ask any question, to try to draw something up. If it sounds silly or dumb, I don't really care. I want to learn ball. And if you have that type of personality as well, reach out to me and we can certainly talk through some things. If you want to know anything about what we do, I've written a couple articles for X&O Labs. You can just go on there and Google my name. I've written 3 of them, how we do our scouting reports, inside zone, and then offensive line play in an up-tempo offense with some drills and drill tape and stuff like that. So all that, guys, is free to y'all. Anybody that reaches out to me, follows me on Twitter, I'll be more than happy to get that to you. But again, Coach Haddock, I appreciate the hell out of it, man. I learned a lot.
Absolutely. Coach Mallard, I just want to really thank you for reaching out and giving me the opportunity to come on tonight and talk ball with you and Coach Kirby. And Coach Kirby, there's a couple times that I'm looking at what you're doing going, yeah, that puts me in a bind, and I did not adjust properly to that. And it's all good and fun. And like you said, it's all about learning, and what we do is absolutely amazing that we can talk ball and try and learn from each other. I want to thank Bobby Darnell, my head coach at Clements High School, James Williams, the head coach at Thurgood Marshall High School M Block. They have taught me a tremendous amount here in the last 7 years, giving me the opportunity to learn and take some of the things we do and make them my own. Because everything we do in this job, we beg, borrow, and steal. There's very little left that we come up with on our own that's unique nowadays. So it's taking what you learn, adapting it to your program and your kids, and making it work. And it's been a lot of fun blending the things that I've learned in different places. Big thanks to my wife, Jamie, for taking care of the kids tonight and making sure that I had some time to focus with you guys. My Twitter handle is at Coach J Haddock, Haddock. So hit me up on Twitter. Give me a follow. I spend a lot of time. College coaches have spent a lot of time promoting our athletes. So if you've got some needs, we can always find a great absolute student athlete that can fit the needs of your programs. But anybody that wants to follow, talk ball, I don't mind exchanging phone numbers at all as well. I'm always in attendance at the Texas High School Coaches Association coaching school. I'm always in attendance at the American Coaches Association convention as well. I have actually written 2 articles that have been published at AFCA in their magazine, and back in our last face-to-face meeting back in spring of 2020, I did one of the turf demos. So you can log into AFCA, go look all of those up, and let me know what you think, or if you've got any questions. Definitely looking to meet more people to talk about the sport and ways that we can impact the young people that we spend time with. I had coaches that had a great impact on my life, and that's a very big reason that I do what I do right now, because they gave to me and friends around me, and I get to now give back and have not just my 2 children at home, but a whole lot of children that I get to call mine from here on out. So thank you very much for the time, Coach, tonight. I really appreciate it.